Okay, so less than 2 hours ago, I've crouched behind the kitchen island, hiding from the kids, intensely aggressive eating a handful of chocolate chips straight out of the baking bag like a raccoon in a dumpster.
Not the baking chips. A truly culinary low point.
I was under attack. The teenager couldn't find her shoes. The dog was barking about a delivery on the front porch. My inbox was dinging, and my brain went, semi sweet chocolate chips will save our life. All right, so if you are listening to this right now in your car or watching us on YouTube, and you've ever hidden from your household just to catch your breath or to eat your feelings, drop a comment right now below the video and tell us your ultimate hiding spot, and we promise not to judge you.
And we totally won't. We're both guilty of that type of stuff. And today we will be breaking down exactly why your brain turns into a kitchen raccoon when life gets loud. Pop on your seatbelts, everyone. We are learning how to keep your absolute shit together while the rest of the world is completely losing theirs. Cue the music.
Welcome back to the Sacred Soul Roots podcast. I'm April.
And I'm Angela. We are your hosts, your resident nervous system nerds, and most importantly, lifelong best friends since we were 10 years old.
36 years of absolute history, Ange. We have survived bad 90s perms, dramatic relationship breakups, corporate burnout, parenting wild children, and active families, and now starting a brand new wellness business in our 40s. Here we are.
And if there's one thing that we've learned in all this 36 years of a roller coaster ride, it's that you can't wait for the world to become peaceful before you decide to get regulated. The collective energies out there right now are completely chaotic.
It's like there's a total global shortage of chill, which is why we are kicking off our brand new 4-part series. Today, we're planting the seed of what it actually means to regulate your nervous system on a biological, somatic, and soulful level. We aren't talking about toxic positivity or sitting on a cloud pretending the world isn't messy. We're actually talking about real, gritty, biological resilience.
Yes, we just wrapped up our beautiful elemental series on astrology, but today we're moving from the cosmos straight into your physical biology. Let's paint the picture and let me tell you what it looks like when someone has officially lost their shit. We all know the signs. It's that internal explosion over a dropped fork. It's the instant irritation when an email arrives. Or on the flip side, it's that total heavy, numb paralysis where you're staring at your phone for 3 hours, completely unable to make dinner.
Oh, stop reading my diary from last Tuesday, Ange. Seriously, though, think about when we were teenagers. Remember when we thought a major life crisis was our favorite jeans shrinking in the dryer? And now, like, fast forward to our 40s, we are managing a business, raising kids, keeping households running, and just trying not to collapse in a heap at the end of the day.
The stakes got higher, but our biological wiring didn't change. Our bodies are still operating on software that is thousands of years old. When your boss sends an urgent text or your teenager has a meltdown, your primitive brain doesn't know the difference between that and a saber-toothed tiger chasing you through the woods.
And let's be honest about what happens when we don't catch it. For me personally, if I don't consciously choose to take a pause moment, if I don't stop and actively breathe when things get chaotic with the kids, I do find myself losing my shit, losing my temper. I'll yell at them, and the immediate aftermath isn't just emotional guilt, it's actually completely somatic.
So tell them what happens in your actual body, because people think that stress is just a thought.
It's like the moment the yell leaves my mouth, I can feel physical gripping. For me, it hits in my lower back and my kidney area. It tightens up like a fist, throbbing with tension. My body is literally storing the chemical hangover of that anger right there in my tissue.
That is such a profound textbook example. Your kidneys and adrenal glands sit right there in your lower back. When you yell, your adrenals pump out a massive flood of cortisol and adrenaline. The physical gripping you feel is your body going into a structural protective bracing posture.
Exactly. So, what about you, Ange? What does it look like when you've kind of hit your limit?
For me, because of my background in high stakes social services and chemistry, I tend to go into like a hyper vigilant containment. I don't yell as much, but my jaw sure does lock up like iron, and I clamp my teeth together so hard that by the time it's like 8 p.m., I have a searing tension headache that radiates down my neck into my shoulders. My chest also gets incredibly tight, like someone is tightening it with a ratchet strap just right around my ribs. And my breathing becomes completely shallow. It's physically suffocating my own system just trying to hold my shit together.
And see, this is what we call somatic woundology. Your body speaks in literal metaphors. If you are listening, think about where you hold your tension. Are your shoulders permanently glued to your ears? That is the classic carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders wound. Are you overfunctioning, carrying responsibilities that don't even belong to you? Or maybe you have chronic, nagging neck pain. Biologically, your muscles are bracing, but metamorphically, your body's asking, who or what in my life right now is being a literal pain in the neck?
It's so true. Your body is a literal mirror for your emotional boundaries. Think about lower back pain. That's often connected to a fear of lack or feeling completely unsupported in life. Your body will physically stage a protest long before your mind admits you're overwhelmed. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, pause this audio for a second, scroll down to the comments, and tell us, where does your stress live? Are you a clenched jaw container, a shoulder weight carrier, a lower back gripper? Let's get a conversation going down there, because realizing you aren't the only one carrying these somatic patterns is incredibly healing.
It really is. And honestly, just being able to laugh about it is a massive piece of the puzzle. Ange and I laugh at ourselves constantly.
Constantly.
Laughing, right? Laughing is actually a biological cheat code for the nervous system. When you have a deep belly laugh and just let it go, it actually forces an involuntary deep exhalation, which tells your brain, hey, we are safe enough to giggle. The tiger must have left the room. So if you take yourself too seriously in this wellness world, you'll end up stressing yourself out just trying to be perfectly relaxed.
The irony of stress induced meditation. We see it all the time. That's why we bring so much playfulness to our frameworks. True regulation isn't about sitting in rigid silence, it's about being fluid, adaptable, and a little bit quirky. All right, let's get into the heavy science of why keeping your shit together feels so biologically heavy. Your autonomic nervous system has two primary branches that operate like a biological seesaw. First, you have the sympathetic nervous system. That's your accelerator pedal. When it fires, your heart rate spikes, your pupils dilate, your blood pressure goes through the roof, and your blood is physically shunted away from your digestive organs and your higher functioning prefrontal cortex, sending it straight to your thighs and your arms so you can run or fight.
And on the other side of that seesaw, you have the parasympathetic nervous system. This is your biological brake pedal and often driven by the beautiful vagus nerve. When this branch takes over, your heart rate slows down, your blood flows back to your gut so you can actually digest your food. Your immune system fires up to repair your cells, and your brain releases calming neurochemicals like acetylcholine.
Exactly. Now, in a healthy, natural cycle, you press the gas pedal to handle a challenge, and then you seamlessly switch to the brake pedal to reset and recover. But in our modern world, most people are suffering from high functioning panic or functional freeze. This is where you are driving through life absolutely like a rock star who has to keep showing up for work and your kids. So you pull the emergency brake at the same time. You look totally fine on the outside. You're answering emails, you're making school lunches, but biologically, your internal system is screaming.
Yes, and we call that the invisible burnout. It's when you're doing all the things, but you feel completely numb. You're physically present in the room with your family, but spiritually and emotionally, You might be a million miles away because your brain has partitioned off your energy just to keep you from collapsing.
Exactly. And that brings us back to that brilliant structural metaphor that we love to teach, the threat bucket. Imagine your nervous system has a literal physical bucket inside of it. So every single stressor in your life is water pouring into that bucket. Now, your primitive nervous system, it doesn't categorize stress by importance. To your body, a poor night's sleep is a cup of water in the bucket. Skipping breakfast to rush to a meeting, another cup of water in the bucket. Chronic inflammation from processed foods, half of a pitcher down in that bucket. And a passive aggressive comment from a coworker, another big splash.
So by the time you walk through your front door at 5 p.m., your biological bucket is already filled right up to the absolute brim. It is sloshing over the edges. And then your kid accidentally spills a glass of milk, or your partner asks a completely innocent question like, "Hey, what's for dinner?" And boom, you completely explode. You yell, your lower back locks up like vice grips, or you burst into tears. And then you feel intense guilt.
But it was never about the milk. The milk was just that single drop that made everything overflow in an already full biological bucket. This is a massive paradigm shift. When you realize that your reactivity isn't a character flaw, it's just a full bucket, you can stop beating yourself up and start focusing on how to safely empty that bucket.
Yes. And you don't have to figure out how to empty it alone. If you are listening to this right now and thinking, "Oh my gosh, my bucket has been overflowing for 5 years straight," we have immediate professional help for you.
Mm.
Now, on our website, we have our signature professional track available called Stress Response SOS.
This training is explicitly built to hand you the clinical tools to drain that bucket in real time. We deep dive with our Beats method and teach you how to use the self instrument. It trains you in activation literacy, how to map exactly where the stress is gripping your body, whether it's your kidneys, your jaws, or your shoulders, and how to de escalate that biological response before that bucket even overfills. You can roll right now if you would like at SacredSoulRoots.com. Check it out.
That's right. Maybe we should share a little bit about why we created this program and what it entails. So, it's an 8 module program and it really walks you through, like Ange mentioned, the biological stress activation literacy and really to know what's going on in your body during stressful activation moments, which all of us experience. How do we explain how we sparked this program and why we created the program in the first place?
I think that there's this huge gap how to help somebody when they're losing their shit. So I think one of the main reasons that we developed this program is because there is definitely a gap in most training programs, whether it's coaching programs, HR curriculums, and careers. When you're dealing with somebody, you don't really get to learn how to regulate your own body and help somebody regulate theirs when you're touching on sometimes really traumatic events that have happened. We took a look at that gap and we're providing something to fill it in. In my experience, drug and alcohol counseling and working in social services, these are things that I had to self study and learn and experiment with. Instead of leaving that just up in the air for you to come up with on your own, we've developed a system that could really help you in those situations when somebody in front of you is literally losing their shit.
Yeah, and that reminds me of being in the human resources field, and you never know what to expect on a day-to-day basis. Someone comes and plops down in the seat in front of you in your office, and they don't look like they're going to move. And then they go into maybe a personal story, maybe a work related story, and learning how to calm myself. Because sometimes what I'm hearing is stressful to my body, and I can feel my chest tighten and my breath becomes shallow. Maybe my heart starts beating fast. And I had to learn what I called the HR face, which is like to not be giving away too much of what I'm experiencing internally. I don't want to be making faces. So I called it the HR face, like maintain a cool, calm appearance while taking in information that is actually kind of stressing me out. And then even going to school for personnel management and HR, and even my master's degree program in business, I do feel like there is a gap. We're not taught as professionals how to be prepared and ready for stressful conversations, those times where you're dealing with a personnel issue or maybe having to let someone go, or you're hearing something personal in the office that is traumatic and stressful for the person sharing that story too. Realize what's going on in your body, how to read what someone else might be going through, and then what to do about all that energy. It's stressful energy. And what do we do about it? We're sitting there, and yes, there's always processes available, but there's a lot more than just process that needs to be dealt with. We're humans. We're having human experiences and human reactions, right? So our program really
Yeah.
goes into is filling in those gaps of what do I do? How do I get back in my body and not start floating away or going with the flow, especially if the flow is tumultuous, you know? I really love our program, and it was fun to deep dive into the different aspects of how to read those activation signs and then what to do with it. And so our program going through the beats method, like you mentioned, and the SELF instrument, which stands for slow your breath, ease your body, look inward, and feel present. And we give tips, tools, and techniques on what to do. I feel like it's an absolute game changer for professionals, corporate leaders, moms alike. And those who want to take it a step further, we are also currently finalizing our brand new 14-day reset cleanse program. It's going to feature 8 immersive modules and gorgeous companion documents designed specifically to reset your gut brain biology from the inside out, clearing out that long held chemical debris that keeps our buckets so full.
Yeah, and it pairs beautifully with our Soulful Journey program, The Remembering. Because when your physical bucket is draining and your nervous system is wide and regulated, you can step into that gorgeous visual immersive experience and actually receive high dimensional soul alignment. You move from just surviving the week into a deep, sovereign remembrance of who you actually are.
Ah, I get chills just thinking about it. And we aren't just teaching how to survive a chaotic workday, everyone. We are talking about reclaiming your entire biological and spiritual sovereignty so that when the world is shaking and that bucket's sloshing because it's full, you can be completely anchored into your body and into the earth.
Beautifully said, Bestie. Now that we understand the heavy biology of the bucket, let's transition into showing our listeners how to poke a hole in the bottom of the bucket and let some of that water drain out right now. So let's get rooted, April. Take us to our embodiment practice for today.
All right, everyone who is listening, if you are driving a car, please keep your eyes on the road. But if you are in a safe space, I want you to gently bring your awareness into your physical body. So let's start by dropping our shoulders away from our ears. Unclench your jaw. Release all those tiny muscles around your eyes. Soften your eyes. And if you feel that tightening in your lower back or your kidney area, like I sometimes do, imagine sending a warm breath down into that exact space, letting those tissues soften just 5%. If your shoulders feel heavy, imagine gently rolling them back and letting them down and letting go of those invisible weights you've been carrying for everyone else. We are going to do a simple but powerful technique called the physiological sigh. This is a biological hack that sends an immediate safety signal to your brain, poking a hole right in the bottom of your threat bucket. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and then take one more sharp sip of air right at the very top. Now, exhale it all out through your mouth with a long, slow sigh. Let's do that together 2 more times. Deep breath in, another quick sip at the top, and then let it go with a heavy sigh. Great. One last time. Deep breath in, pack in a little more air, and sigh it out completely. Ah, good. Notice how your chest settles. Notice the weight of your body pressing into your seat or the floor beneath you. You are here. You are safe in this exact moment. Your body knows how to find its way home.
Beautiful. That right there is a microdose of regulation. You don't need 2 hours of silence to reset your system. You just need intentional, conscientious moments of connection.
Angela, I was wondering if you can walk us through the rooting breath, the how to get rooted breath.
Everybody, hold up your fingers if you can, or if you don't want to hold them up, you can put them in your lap. But I want you to touch your thumb to your pointer finger and take a breath. Just take a deep breath in and notice how it kind of goes and sits in your chest, like when you breathe in. And so you can go ahead and let that breath out. I want you to slide your thumb over to your middle finger and take another breath in. And just notice how it goes down further into your belly, into your womb space, fills that up. Now we're going to take another little slide to our ring finger. Take a deep breath in and feel how it goes all the way down to like your sit bones that you're sitting on, just all the way down to your pelvis, a little bit lower, and then breathe out. And this time, let's put our thumb and our pinky together and take a deep breath in and feel how that goes all the way down past our sit bones and out our feet into the ground. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in and then out. Good. It's another small tool we can use to help regulate. And you can do that very nonchalantly. Move your fingers into your desk, and just as somebody else is talking, or maybe they're telling you a hard story about something, you can just go along your fingers, just noticing where your breath placement ends.
Hmm. Love that. That was beautiful. Thank you. And thank you for joining us for episode 1 of this series, everyone. Head over to SacredSoulRoots.com right now to sign up for our stress response SOS training. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube, and leave us a comment about your somatic stress spots or your favorite kitchen hiding places. We read every single one.
That's right. Stay steady, keep your feet on the ground, laugh at the chaos when you can, and remember to look after your sacred soul roots. Bye, everyone.
Sending love. Bye, everyone.